What's going on, everybody, and welcome into a very special edition of the By the Horns podcast presented by Toyota. And you know that Toyota has more all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive vehicles than any other brand, so find yours and shine on. Toyota, let's go places. I'm Cam Smith. You know who he is over there, too, my far left, CHSN Bulls insider. But we have Bulls royalty with us on this edition of the By the Horns podcast. None other than Horace Grant and Bill Cartwright, essential pieces to the Bulls' first three-peat. It's great to have you guys on the show and in the studio for the special edition, man. How you guys feeling?
Well, great to have us. Thank you for having us here, and feeling good, and great to be back in Chicago, and along with one of my best teammates right here. I have to say that.
I think what Horace was wanting to say is that, yes, it's great to be here, and it's about time.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for you.
Nice. A great reunion for you guys here, as we said, with Bull Fest going on this weekend. A lot of activities and activations going on. A lot of Bulls greats, legends, and ambassadors are taking part in so many different things. But it's special to have you two back together, because I can see the relationship before we started the pod, just seeing these guys reminisce and have these conversations about the last time you played basketball and all of that. But what's special that I witnessed when watching you guys, is I'm a lifelong Chicagoan, born and raised, and remember that first three-peat, is the chemistry that you two guys had as front court players of that team. And that's why I described you as essential pieces. So when you look back on that time of the first three-peat, what was special to you guys of what you brought for your positions to those championships?
Well, I'll go first. My position was easy because I was a veteran coming to the league. But I came here to Chicago in '88. It was my 9th year. So we had young guys. It was Horace in Pip's second year. MJ was young. Everybody was young. So my role was a defender. So you had to embrace that. And seeing Horace grow as a player was really special, because extraordinarily hard worker, and he just progressively got better and better every year. So it was a great, and also we had a little pact, but one of us got the ball was going to the other one.
Sure did. Nice. Sure did. That year, the Bulls traded one of my closest friend, one of my mentors, Charles Oakley, and that allowed me to step into that power forward position. And, I was still on the thin side and not, being green. But when they traded for Bill Cartwright, and I had a guy who had my back, 7-footer, I don't know, you about 6'10" now, but a guy who demanded respect in the middle. It was heaven sent.
Yeah, you guys, when you first got here, you said this is one of your favorite teammates, and I know you jokingly said he paid you to say that, but you hear that a lot about Bill. What made him such a good teammate? What
made Bill such a great teammate, that he was always honest and upfront with you, all right, about everything. And that commanded respect right there. And what he brought to the game, especially to the Bulls, the intimidation factor, that if you get past MJ or Pip, you're not going to lay the ball up. Bill Cartwright made sure that you would not lay the ball up.
You ever feel those sharp elbows in practice?
Ooh.
Oh, man.
I think those are the memories you're trying to stay away from and forget, right?
Listen, true story. He knocked about 2 or 3 of us out, and Phil said, go sit down. You're not practicing anymore. I think he did it on purpose to get out of practice.
Just very poor rumors. Maybe one guy.
Will Purdue.
Unfortunately, Will.
When you talked about his growth and maturation, I mean, you obviously saw him coming to the league as such a skinny, athletic forward, and then obviously growing to that, point of the attack on that full court press. What impressed you most about his growth as a player?
Well, I think the big thing is that nobody spent more time with Albert Mill and Eric Helen as this guy.
We saw that just blow up.
This guy is like in the gym. He's lifted. He's working. He had some Zubas on. He had those. He's just working. He was a workhorse. So all of his, accolades he's gotten over the years, he's earned them, because this guy was our best worker, especially during the summertime, just making himself better every year.
Now you see the individual work for you guys being put in and also as a team, and it culminated in that first championship in '91. And you hear it so many times when it comes to no matter what sport it is, it's so difficult not only to win a championship, but to repeat. So take us through that difficulty of trying to come back the next year better, because knowing that you're going to be the target for every single team that you face off, no matter if they're the worst team in the league or the best team in the league.
Go ahead this time.
Well, once you're up here, everybody, as you said, I mean, back in the day, the Clippers wasn't a good team, but we were their A game. Atlanta Hawks wasn't that great of a team, but we were their A game. So repeating that champion, you have to have that champion mindset to go in and say, the Clippers over there look like the Detroit Pistons. So you have to have that mindset, you know, if not, they're going to knock you off that throne. But to mature as a team in that first three-peat was incredible. I mean, it took from the number one guy, say from MJ to Pip, myself, BJ, all the way down to the bench players. I mean, Scott Williams, 𝗙𝗎King, during that time, Bobby Hansen, all the, you name it. Yeah. And Bill Cartwright. Yeah.
Well, that's true. We had to come in at the same level and play at a championship level every night, because, especially going to the West Coast, if we're playing the Lakers, we're not only the game of the year, we're not only the game of the week, we're the game of the month, we're the game of the year. So everybody's coming, and they're going to bring their best game. So our level of play was awesome every night. And also a big part of our team, and Horace just mentioned it, was that our bench, I call them our second group of starters, those guys came in, and those guys either kept the lead or extended the lead. So we had a special group, not only of starters, but our guys coming off the bench.
You guys talked about the pact you had amongst yourselves, perhaps lightheartedly, about passing to each other. You guys had a certain player on that team who took a few shots, and deservedly so. We got to get to Michael. I mean, obviously, such an incredible player on so many levels. But what was it like having him both as a teammate from a personal standpoint and a professional standpoint?
Well, I think that, you know, Michael was a great leader in the fact that his level of play, even at practice, was really high. And as a team, our level of practice was really high. Now, Horace is right, because a lot of times I'd step off because they'd go at each other in practice. And I'm like, I don't know what you're doing, I'm gonna go ahead. But the level of practice was really tough, and it just made us better. So that's what he brought. The level of play was great, even during practice.
I mean, one of the best leaders I ever played with. And I say that in the respect of, I played with some great players, the late, great Kobe, Shaq, Gary Payton, Karl Malone. But it was just something special about MJ. We always felt that practices was so intense.
Yep.
We couldn't wait for the games, In practices, your ability runs wild. I say that because it was so intense. It was a few fights here and there. You know what I'm saying? No names, but it got intense. But one of the best leaders I ever played with.
And that's where, real quick, that's where Phil, to me, and Johnny and Tex were so good, is they kept that level of accountability and intensity at practice, and sometimes let fights happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's nothing wrong with, fighting, I mean, I'm not condoning it, to the young kids, but your mindset, your intentions, runs wild in practice. It's so competitive.
Yeah.
And I think that's one reason why, the Bulls three-peated twice.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, you hear the cliche that practice should be harder than the games, but it's true because to the points that you made of competing against each other and really bringing out the best of everyone helps you ultimately as a team. And so another one of your teammates that has his podcast and does the Bulls broadcast, 𝗬𝗎 King, he said on his podcast on Give Me the Hot Sauce that you guys expected every night to win ball games with MJ on the floor. You talked about just his ability and him as a leader as well. Do you share those same feelings as 𝗬𝗎 did night in, night out, knowing that you would get the A game from that opponent, that no, we're better than you because we have the best player in the game?
When you have number 23 sitting over there, your confidence level is here. I mean, out of this atmosphere. And then you got right beside him, you got number 33, who, it was right there. And you look at your bench or your second starters, our mindset was like, we're going to win, but just by how many points?
What a feeling.
Hey,
Yeah.
our mindset, and I will never forget this, our mindset was, we're going to go ahead and annihilate our opponents so we can get rest and put ice on our knees. That was our mindset. We wanted to rest. And I think Bill can concur to this. Once we put that ice on our knees, it was the bench who took over, and it was very rare that we got the ice off our knees.
So Bill was putting the ice on the knee, like basically lighting the victory cigar for you guys.
Ultimately. But I think the big thing is that, basketball, and it still does, it comes down to the last 5 minutes of the game. And that last 5 minutes of the game, it's our game. And not necessarily offensively, because I can tell you that we were the best defensive team every year defensively. So at the end of the game, if we're not scoring, you're not scoring. So if you look at the highlights, especially with Utah, steals, taking the ball from them. And then it's going to come down to the last shot. And we did have the best score in the league. So, but at the end of the game, we're going to stop you more times than not.
While we're talking about Bulls greats, the Bulls announced this week that Derrick Rose's number 1 will be going to the United Center rafters in January 26th. I know you guys obviously didn't play with Derrick, but certainly must have an appreciation for him. What are your thoughts about his career and kind of his impact on the city of Chicago and this franchise?
His impact has always been great, very positive. He's from this city, well-deserved. The guy was a really special player. I'm not sure, I'm sure we could have fit him in somewhere on our team. Somewhere we could have fit him in.
Yeah.
But,
Take Pax's minutes.
well, I'm going to let Pax talk about that. But just such a special guy. And like I said, Chicago kid, well-deserved.
Derrick, deservingly so. What he brought to the city, the number 1 pick, the youngest MVP of the league, his career, I can't wait for that night. Because I think everybody in Chicago should be attending that here or on television.
There you go.
How special is it for you guys to, as you mentioned, with how he represented Chicago, what he was able to achieve, especially at a young age in that Bulls uniform, but how special is it for you guys to look at him and say, he reminds us of how we played and what we wanted to do and what we tried to do out on the court to make sure not only that we held the Chicago Bulls franchise up, but also the city of Chicago?
Well, from the standpoint of his passion, his work ethic, and the love of the game, I saw that within us as a team. And he just basically carried that on over to another level. It would have been great to have somebody like that on our team also, because he was Mr. Everything for this ball club when he played here. Yeah.
It's just great to have somebody to carry on that tradition, that winning tradition, that style of play, how hard he played, how hard he worked. And I think that's the thing people remember the most. They remember a lot of things, great shots, great possessions, but I think what people appreciate most is the effort that you put in, day out, and that's exactly what he gave.
Bill, you coach in this league for a long time, but you're several years removed from your NBA days. Now that you're working for your alma mater again at University of San Francisco.
That's right. USF.
Got to shout out the Dons. Horace, you're around, as a team ambassador here and there. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are about today's game and NBA and certain players in the Bulls that you might have thoughts about, or anybody else in the league that kind of stands out to you. Putting you on the spot here, guys.
Yeah. No, you're not. He's going to say
modern NBA. What are you going to say?
Oh boy.
Well,
Too many 3-point shots.
Not enough physicality.
Well, look, it's everybody's going to say the same thing in our generation where, and we know basketball changes and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is that your versatility offensively makes you really great. And there's just not the versatility now of just shots going up. 3-point shots. Everybody's a 3-point shooter. It's like in baseball, everybody's a home run hitter. It's, what is this called? Nonsense. So we just want to, we know it's going to come back around to practical basketball, things that make sense, team basketball, movement, maybe, who knows, we'll get a pin down. God forbid we'll get a post up. So just basic basketball, I think that people like to see, and the versatility to be not only be a 3-point shooter, but be able to post up. Maybe you can get our coach to post a point guard up this year. Who knows? That could happen.
and get off your lawn, right? Horace, what are your thoughts about today's NBA? Hopefully more positive than Mr. Bill.
No, it's not.
Well, I think I would love to see more physicality.
Modest 𝗮𝘃 is pretty physical.
Yeah,
he's got a chance, that guy, man.
But just think about this. The NBA brought in the flopping rule. I think you penalize players for flopping.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to put that into play, something needs to change. So I say the physicality should come back. I'm not talking about, the
Dennis Rodman
or Bill Laimbeer and Larry Bird or anything like. And I think Bill got into it with some centers back in the day also. But physicality, I'd like to see back. Yeah.
All right. That will do it for this special edition of the By the Horns podcast. And shout out to Bulls royalty that joined us on this episode. Horace Grant, Bill Cartwright. These guys, again, essential to that first three-peat of this Bulls franchise and still around, and as you see, representing the city of Chicago and this Bulls franchise still at the highest levels as they get ready to take part in some skill clinics with some kids over at Bulls Fest. But that'll do it for this edition of the By the Horns podcast presented by Toyota. Toyota has more all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive vehicles than any other brand. So find yours and shine on. Toyota, let's go places. We'll see everybody soon.